Hi, this is Tina Hewitt, Stampin' Up demonstrator in Adelaide, Australia, and this is part 2 of my class using the Pets and More stamp set from Stampin' Up. And today I'm just going to show you the second card from this class, and I'll just go. This is the card here. So cute little card with a background and a focal point with the cat and the dog that I've coloured in using the alcohol markers called Stampin' Blends by Stampin' Up. So it's a pretty simple card really. So I'll just show you how to make that one. Put that over there. Okay, I've got my bits and pieces here. Now with the background. So this is a card base, just a standard card, and the background panel is going to be stamped with a few little images, cats and dogs. So what I did with these stamps is I put the 3 of them on one block to make it easier and a bit quicker. So now I bring in my mat, my foam mat, because this is a photopolymer set and you'll get better images if you stamp on the mat. So I'll just take this out of here so it you don't get the glare, and I'll grab a little piece of paper, put underneath. This is probably about the same size, a bit bigger. Should I just do that right there? So I have my block and just stamping. When you're stamping with these, just tap lightly on the block, especially with these stamp pads that are quite juicy. So basically all I did with this one was just sort of started in one corner and went around. So now what you'll notice that this one stamps fairly dark to start with, and then as it dries it becomes lighter. So I'm just going to fill in some areas here. I'll turn the stamps around, turn the paper around, so you'll get all different directions, and it's just a random pattern, so you don't have to be too precise, and the middle doesn't have to be filled in because that's going to be covered up by the focal point, the focal layer. So what I'm going to do, I'll just put that one there, and I'll just fill in a little bit on the corner. Okay, so that's that one. I'll leave that there for now, and I'll just clean my stamp with my chamois. So now when I did this, I thought it's going to be a little bit busy against that with the cat and the dog on it. So I decided to tone it down a little bit by using the same colour ink and picking it up with a blending brush. I'm just picking it up from the stamp pad, and then just lightly coming in from the edges, picking up some of that colour and just toning down the white so it's not so stark. It just creates a very subtle background colour, and this one might be a little bit darker than the previous one I made, but the ink will lighten a little bit as it dries. So the trick with blending, using blending brushes, is not to press too hard. If you press hard on the cardstock, you'll get lines, and you don't really want lines. You want to build up the colour. So it's better to just go over a couple more times in the same area than they're trying to put the whole amount of colour in one go, because that's when you start getting lines. So that's quite light. I'm coming in a little bit darker, a bit more there, and just fading to the centre. And so it doesn't, I'm not going to add any colour in the centre because it's going to be covered up. So, and yep, so keep going around, add a little bit more colour. And as they come from the edges, you'll get a nice defined edge that will stand out from the layer at the bottom. So, because of the ink on the edge of the cardstock, I think that looks pretty good. So I'll finish with that colour and just close that up. I'll just bring in my card base, so that's ready to go onto the card base, and then I've got my focal image to stamp. So like what I did with this one, instead of stamping both the cat and the dog separately, I've put them on one block. You can use your grid paper to line them up. I didn't think that was absolutely crucial with this. So when I'm using a stamp pad, if the block is a little bit bigger than the stamp, you could do that like that. But if the stamp pad is smaller than the block, this is a way to get enough ink on the stamp. It's just a different way of stamping. Work out which is easiest for you. Yeah, I'm just going to put this in the middle of this die cut circle. Give it a good press. Okay, that's pretty good. Alright, so I'll just give this one a quick clean with my chamois. The chamois will go black when you use black ink, but that ink is not going to transfer onto other stamps or your paper or anything like that. Right, so now I've got my cat and dog there. I'm going to use at Stampin' Blend's alcohol marker to colour them in. This is by no means a real in-depth colouring tutorial. I tend to just do a quick colouring. Now I'm going to use the crumb coat, the dark one, to do the dog ears, which is a bit like, I don't know, what sort of a dog would that be? Floppy ears. Basset hound? Don't know. Anyway, so I'm not going to do tons of shading or anything like that. Because that takes a while, and you can do that if you like, and if you want more realistic images. But I thought I'll just do it that, and I think that's about all with that one. I do use that one for the ground at the end. I'll use not use the brush tip. When you're using the brush tip of these, it's best to just use the side of the marker rather than press down that way, because that will crush the tip. and it won't be good for the pen, so it sort of gets a bit frayed, and then you can't do nice precise lines if that's what you want to do in future. So I tend to use the brush tip for larger areas and the bullet tip for smaller areas. So just covering the body. So now I'm going to go around the little tag that I'm going to use red for. Can go over the dark tone that I've done there. That's not going to make a lot of difference. Pause. So with the alcohol markers, they make it easier to colour without having lines showing. Like if you use normal brush markers, which are water-based, you tend to get lines when you go over. But it really depends. You could have more. Let's bring this in. You could have more layers to fill in the colour, and then as you build up the layers, you shouldn't have as many lines. So, okay, I think that's enough for the little dog. I'll just fill in his little tag with dark red. This is dark real red. And the cat is this is a little pink for the ears. This one actually just has a number 1000. It's one of the skin tones colours. So for the cat's body, I've got to do his nose. Do his little nose. That pink as well. Yeah, with the body, there's different ways that you can colour. Then do your colour. You can do an all over light colour first, and then go over with the darker tone to give you a bit of sort of shading, or you could just do the darker bit first. So that's what I'm going to do with this one to make it a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to put that over the top of his head. So it's got a edge there, put a little bit around there. This is the darker one. Doesn't matter if it's got a bit of a line. Yeah, dark grey granite this one is. And then just define the edges of the head and the body. And then colour in a couple of the stripes. And if you've got any of these sort of tabby cat, they tend to have stripes on their tails, darker and lighter ones. So that's what I'm doing here. So that'll do. I'll put a little bit on the end of his tail there. Okay, now I'll go over the rest with the lighter shade of grey granite, and hopefully that'll smooth out. And with the Stampin' blends, they tend to smooth out as they dry, and you won't get as many lines, hopefully. You might need to do 2 layers sometimes to get it a bit smoother. So this is fairly quickly. If you take your time, spend a bit more time on it, then you can blend the colours, but this gives you a bit of an idea. You can do that. So it's doing quite good actually. So just what I'll do, I'm just going to do over this just to smooth out that line a little bit. Over the head. And And there's 2 layers of the lighter tone all over, just to fill it in. And this is just about done. Right, and I'll just let that dry. I think that's about it. Now I've got to do the ground so they're not just floating. Sometimes these are a little bit hard to take the lid off. But, okay, so I'm just going to go around the feet here. Give them something to stand on. Yeah. Just a little bit around there. And there we go. So we could do just the edge there. So they're cute. They're so cute, aren't they? Oh, they're so cute. That's all. Couldn't resist. Anyway, so now all I've got to do is put this together, and it's done. This is not a very time-consuming card at all. So now just grab my glue and put this layer on. The card front. So with the glue, I've got a bit of wiggle room. And that's it. Well, that's just dry. I'm going to put my dimensionals on here. I've got them here. So you can see when you use alcohol markers that it does go through the paper a little bit. So, depending on how many layers that you put, layers of colour that you put down. So this is quite a decent sized circle. Then I put a few dimensionals on the back to hold it up. So use my fingers. I could use my trusty take a pick tool to pick them up. Okay, what I'm going to do is put this sort of a little bit up from the bottom, so it's not dead set in the centre. It's visually appealing that way, and it also gives me room to put a little line, a sentiment there if I put happy birthday or thinking of you or congratulations or whatever. So that's the one I've just made. That's my original, and that's the second card in this series. Then the next video, which I'll do very shortly, will be the third and final card in this class, and I hope to see you in that video. Bye for now.